This is a simulation. It actually came out of my real experience as a mediator, and we protected the names and confidentiality of the people. And Tom and Anna are a couple that's been married for a number of years, and they're having a major dispute about what's going to happen with a house that was inherited by Tom's father and had been in the family for generations and had been passed on to both of them. And what's going to happen with spousal support is a source of enormous controversy. They're very caught up with what their lives are all about. It's everybody's fear as a mediator. What do I do when I'm in a room and two people are really upset with each other and I don't have the power to make a decision for them, other than trying to control them or shut them down, to be able to help them find their way through it? Okay, so Steve, let's take it from the moment you found most challenging.
I brought up, what are we going to do with the house? And things just fell apart at that point. So, Tom and Anna, what are we going to do about the house?
What are we going to do about the house?
Yeah, what are we going to do about that house? Are we going to sell it? Are we going to keep it? We're going to split it apart?
Steve, I told you, this house has been in my family for 100 years. Now, Steve, don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me.
Well, I understand that it was in your family for 100 years, but we haven't gotten any past that. We just know that it's been in the family for 100 years.
We've gotten past that.
We've never gotten past that.
Steve has told us that the house is community property and I'm entitled to my half.
Excuse me.
I'm going to get my half.
Excuse me. There's nothing that says you have to do it that way. Steve has told us, no, the law doesn't say that.
The law says that.
All the law is what a judge has to do if we can't come to some other agreement.
When the flame is hottest and you're feeling most helpless and having no idea what to do and want it all to go away or want to leave the room, that's the moment where there's the possibility of the opening.
You know,
there is nothing that says we have to do it the way the law says.
I had to deal with a lot of my own reactions to them.
Is there a reason we have to do it the way the law says?
No, but there might be a reason that you'd want to listen to each other on occasion.
Is there a reason you're looking at me?
I am, yeah.
Why?
Because you have a tendency to talk over people.
Okay, so let's just stop at this moment. So the challenge is to get beyond our own reactions, to see if we can actually be there for these people and help them get beyond their reactions to each other to try to find some new way of being able to talk together. Tell me, what happened?
It felt like I was just losing ground. I didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. It was like being on a slippery road. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to be able to pay attention to both people. But I was having a very difficult time doing it, and it could be that Tom has this physical presence that kind of overwhelms people.
Yeah.
Both.
So you were feeling overwhelmed?
Out of control. I thought I just didn't have any sense that I was in control. I was having a hard time.
Seemed like you were pretty upset with him.
Yeah, I was. I was having a hard time remaining neutral.
Right.
Yeah.
So what were you feeling toward him?
I was pretty angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty angry.
So out of your anger, what did you want to do with him?
I wanted to just get him out of the room.
Right. It seemed like you got caught in your reaction to him.
I think so.
And now what's going on is, and you feel kind of pulled to kind of protect Anna.
Well, not only protecting Anna, but I think I was trying to protect myself as well.
You say some more about what that was.
Well, as things began to escalate, and I could see that perhaps they would escalate a little bit more, I began to become very concerned that I was losing my role and my place. Am I trying to help them get to someplace? Am I trying to be a referee? Am I trying to, survive myself?
So you have a judgment about him.
Yes.
And you're trying to protect yourself.
Yes.
And is that where you want to be in the relationship?
I don't think it's going to be very productive. Not enough time helping them try to find what's going on and a solution.
It sounds like you've kind of lost your sympathy for him, whatever sympathy you might have had for him. Have the two of you just switch chairs.
Okay.
Imagine you're Tom now.
Okay.
And you've just said those things that you heard Tom say. What's that like, to be in his situation? where he would come out with such forceful language that would be so off-putting to you?
I think there's a fear. There's a fear, and it's interesting just switching chairs.
Yeah. What's that like?
Very uncomfortable and very uneasy, and feeling like if I rely on what the law says, perhaps I might be losing part of myself and part of what had been important in our family, perhaps.
Good. So you're scared
Very much so.
that you're going to lose this thing?
Yes, very
And
much
that's
so.
really important to you. Okay, so go back into the other chair. So can you let yourself, at the moment, just feel the fear? Can you feel it?
Yeah.
That you felt that you were there?
Yeah.
And out of that, just say to him what you heard him say, but with a feeling of the fear that you felt when you sat in his seat that you didn't feel when you were sitting there before.
Tom, I heard you with great force and emphasis say that you really didn't necessarily feel that you had to be bound by the law in what to do with the house. And what I sense is that you may have some fear there about losing this thing that's been very precious to your family. And I'm wondering if that's what's going on.
So how did that feel to you?
Yeah, a little uncomfortable, actually, just in the sense of bringing up these feelings with somebody that we haven't had a lot of experience talking about feelings with. And
Right.
so I'm glad that I asked the question,
Yeah.
but I'm still a little fearful of what that response may
Right.
be.
Try again to just tell him what you understand him to be saying, but feel inside the fear.
Tom, I hear you saying that you have great concern about losing your house. I hear you saying that this is a very important aspect of your life and your family's life. That this home has been in your family for 100 years, and that I'm getting the impression you don't want to see that leave the family.
How does that feel to you?
A lot better.
Yeah. What happened?
I was able to come out of that fearful place and be more, I think more direct, actually.
Right.
More direct.
So how did it feel when he, in this last round, how is that different?
Without agreeing with me, he's validating my concerns. And I can hear that, I can see that's my issue. My issue is that I don't want to lose the house.
So now you feel he's with you.
I at least feel he's heard me,
Good.
which before I don't know that he's heard me.
And for how is this for you to see him be able to connect better?
Steve kind of set up Tom's point in a way for me to hear it, so that then I could sort of continue in a more productive way.
You could actually hear him better.
I could understand his motivation better coming from a different person.
And not threatened by the connection between the two of them.
Correct.
Yeah. When you get polarized from one person, the fear is you felt that you were polarized. You felt it, so that all you want to do is push him away. So
Well, I've
now-
got two of them now. I'm not.
Right,
I had enough
right.
trouble with one.
Right.
I got two now. Oh, great.
Now you're part of the problem. And then what you did was to step into your own feeling of being able to connect with him. And it was the fear that you could feel. And once you could feel that inside, it allowed you to connect with him. And of course, the fear that a lot of mediators have is, oh my God, if I really connect with someone emotionally, what's going to happen is the other person's going to feel alienated. And the reality was, once you actually moved into relationship to him and you could feel his situation and connect to him, it actually made it more possible and more interesting for Anna, because then she could hear him too. So this is a big deal. This is what we call a positive neutrality. That the job of the mediator is not to keep your distance, but it's actually to get in there with both people, to be able to feel what it's like for each of them, and out of that to be able to have the interaction with them.
One interesting thing about this is we started this with what was a very hot conversation between the two of you that felt very overwhelming. And Yet it was one change in the mediator's approach to one party that changed the dynamic between you. It has the potential for really making a very significant change between the two of you, and that shift has such an effect on the two of you and your dynamics.
If you're in the middle and you feel pulled toward one, you do become part of the problem, and that's what happened. And as Tom said, it feels like now I've got two people against me. So the goal is to actually be able to be there in the middle for both people, with both people, and for them to each see that you're capable of understanding both of them.